Yo, what's up, guys? Jody went today. I will be reviewing White Man Can't Jump 1992. I've not seen 2023 version now, but I did see the cast members, and I did see like Jack Harlow, Taylor Rooks, who was on there as well, Tiana Taylor, a couple of people I saw on there. But this is White Man Can't Jump 1992, almost 33 years later. I'm looking it up right now. 32 years, 11 months, and 15 days ago, White Man Can't Jump came out on March 27th, 1992, and I just watched it for the first time today. What is it? Friday, March 14th, 2025. So overall, let's get into it. White Man Can't Jump, again, 1992. Overall, I give it a 8.5 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really heard about the plot. Like, I watched this on Hulu, but I never really heard like the plot behind White Man Can't Jump. So I literally, all I knew was looking at the picture that was a basketball movie. Other than that, I did not hear anything. So I had to learn everything. I didn't hear even like a peep. So overall, like I said, I give White Man Can't Jump an 8.5 out of 10. All right, so obviously the movie starts with like, Billy dribbling a basketball. He's there like Venice Beach in Cali and LA, and he passes by this like, not choir, but it's a group of people like singing for money. They have this thing out. He's like, initially, I'm gonna give you 50, and he gives them one. Obviously it's like 33 years later, so maybe that $1 was, it's definitely more than it is nowadays in 2025. But and then he goes to play basketball. But straight off the bat, stereotype is diabolical. Obviously, the way he was looking, he had his hat forward, his clothes weren't all that, and people judged him. Ladies and gentlemen, do not judge a book by its cover. My dog Billy was a hooper, but they didn't know because he was wearing his fan and he was wearing his hat, and he could look like a normal guy, and they judged the book by its cover. And we get introduced to the character Cindy. Cindy is this super off the bat egotistical, confidence to the roof. And then you got, what's his name, Junior. This man, Junior, was glazing the glaze of hell for Cindy, who he went to this shooting competition for 5 shots with my boy Billy. So Billy versus Cindy, they were going to shoot it out for some money. First 4, both of them make their first 4 shots. Billy hits the 5th shot after talking just 1,000 aura, after everything he said. Boom. He's talking in Cindy's ear. Cindy bricks, takes the money, and some stick gets popped. He's not trying to give him the money, and he's from the hood, and he's trying to finesse. Then later down the line, somebody comes up and tries to like rob somebody for some money to get into one of these games, but the guy at the cashier knew him, and he was able to sell him his piece for like $250, and then he loses that. And then he tried to go run and like full sniper this, air this all out. And then thankfully they ran off because Jesus Christ. I mean, I know everywhere, but Jesus Christ, this was absolutely insane. So Cindy and Billy, after Billy beats Cindy, they go on to hustle people because just like him, he stereotyped. Billy didn't think it was like that, so he just caps, and certain points Billy be sitting on the bench, like ready for a game, or like coming off the train, walking down the stairs. Hey, pick anybody. You can pick the weakest person. You can pick my teammate. Of course, they will pick Billy, and then they would win, which is great. So, stereotype off the rip, like I said, absolutely diabolical. Billy instantly gave me white chocolate vibes, aka Jason Williams, just with the behind the back, just the aura, the white guy who just has game, who has swag. Like I said, he was doing behind the back patch, which was like the forte, the principle of Cindy. Cindy is one of those guys where they just have the most unnecessary behind the back. Like if you like 2K, I think on PlayStation 5, I think it's like, I don't do fact patch, so I wouldn't know. Isn't it like if you double tap circle? I don't even know, but I guess it was that like double tap triangle or something like. If you double tap triangle, it's like when you inbound the ball, like it like slides instead of like a pass, but whatever. I said that because of a different day. He instantly gave me white chocolate vibes, and I finally think it was my first movie that I saw Rosie Perez, and I remember that Kanye West song. I never looked at the lyrics to see what this was about. Y'all remember that song? You got D's, motherfucker, D's, Rosie Perez. And then I saw Rosie Perez and I saw her D's. Pause. And I was like, oh, that was what Kanye was talking about. After all these years listening to Good Morning on my favorite album of Kanye, Graduation, I didn't know what any of this meant. I didn't look any of this up. Then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, and I looked up on Genius, and apparently at that point, Rosie Perez called out Kanye and ended up like backtracking and be like, oh, that's kind of like a compliment, but it's like, damn. But like, you had your D's pause out, so it's like, it's a gray area, but you feel what I'm saying? Whatever. I finally got the Kanye West line. Watching his classic movies, I'm just seeing so many lines nowadays. Like, I don't know what it was, but let's move on. Let's move on. Moral of the story. I have a moral of the story for all of these. Moral of the story. I like 3. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Listen, when somebody is talking, listen. And don't just be when people listen to only things that you want to hear. Listen to the entire. You don't have to agree with them, but at least listen overall. So if something goes wrong, you're like, oh, why did this go that way? Because if maybe you would listen, you would see why it went that way. And 3. Actually, I have another one too. Don't judge a book by its cover. They stereotype Billy, and he finessed him in those games. Simple. 4th, learn money management. My boy Billy, worst money management of all time. He kept trying to play people for money, even though he's owned the Stucci brothers 8 racks, which we're gonna tell him at the end too. Not real people, by the way, at all. But come on, man. There's awful money allocation, awful money management. Like what are you doing, bro? Like, you're taking money from Gloria, even though you're broke, you don't have any money, you don't have a job, you hustle people, you living in hotels and motels and this and that. You got a jar full of money, and then you spent all of that. Then you want an attorney for 5 racks. You got 2.5 instead of the other 2.5. Hey man, you think I can dunk? He's like, of course, sure. 3 tries. Good try on the first one. Over 3 though, and he was out of 2.5k. And then he bought Gloria dress for I don't know what money. I don't know if he stole it or what the hell, but he was in a box, so I don't know. And then he told her. Then she finally flipped out and was out of there. And then his carpet was burning, and so much things happened. And then she left. And then I'll get into it. I'm kind of like getting off track, but it's like I just finished watching this. I just have to get these things off my mind. But okay. Next, Sydney. Let's talk about Sydney. Sydney went out bad at the end because obviously his stereo and his things got stolen, even though he just had like a kid and his wife was there and things of that nature. Man, Sydney's an oh man. So imagine being on a 2-man in basketball, not IRL dating, you freaks, and you play with your mans for some money, and then he puts all the money up, puts up $1,700, well, 1.7k, and then you throw the game on purpose. Don't play defense, really. Break up shots, turnovers, this, that, and the third. Like, it's just man. Like, Cindy, you kind of got what was coming. You hustled Billy, and then they hustled you and took everything out your house. All that they left was your wife and your kid at that point. You feel what I'm saying? So, again, Billy, hey, man, he had to do what he had to do. And then Sydney at the end again, man, he gives him the option. You're like, hey, you want to help me with this money? It's like, sure, Billy said. And then he plays. They win the tourney, basically, with a duck. I forgot what the other guy's name is at the park, like Legend or something like that. And then Glory is nowhere to be found because Billy is so idiotic and he's tuning things out. They were at the park and she was like, initially she was like, oh, you gamble this money. Did she say if you gamble this money you lose, then we're through? But whatever happened, that thing went down, and then she was like, goodbye. And he was like thinking in his head, like, that's just a goodbye for now, not goodbye for good. No, my nigga, how was it goodbye for good? Gloria was out of there, and then he won a tournament or went to their like house or hotel, motel, whatever the hell it was. She was nowhere to be found. And just before that, he just got her back because he got in contact with Cindy, who kind of helped him. So he kind of did Cindy won at the end of the day. Get Gloria her dream, and Gloria's dream was to get on Jeopardy. She studied and did all this. She didn't work. Only thing she put her craft in her mind to was literally that. And shout out to her. She was phenomenal. She went insane. She won like 12K or 13 or 14. Did like a 3-time champ back to back to back. First answer, she says something about like sports, and it was like Babe Ruth when he was talking about the leading rebounder in NBA history. And I'm like, what? And then they're like, Wilt is still Chamberlain. And it's just like Babe Ruth. I'm like, oh, good night. But she bounced back with the foods with a Q and the popes and this. Like, she went insane. Shout out to her. She went insane. And then obviously the premise of the movie is white man can't jump. So I'm like, Billy goes up for the dunk. He misses 3. Okay, cool. The scriptwriters cooked the last point of their tourney to beat the duck guy and win the last game that they played. Does Billy go like this to throw the lob up, and then boom, hammer, he goes ahead and throws it down, game-winning dunk. That was chef's kiss, absolute cinema. And then of course the Stucci brothers come up right after that when he doesn't find Gloria in his house, and of course they know where he's at all times. His old house is the new hotel motel, and then whatever the other hotel motel that they have, and ends up giving him, did he give him the 2.5K, or does Cindy not have the other one? I don't even know, to be honest. I mean, Cindy put up all the money, so I mean, not Cindy. Billy put up all the money, so I don't even know if that was 5K or 2.5K or whatever the hell it was. But Stucci brothers end up getting it, taking him away, and then y'all remember when they showed the Stucci brothers, when they showed that they had people apparently packed up. They weren't really packed up. They just had like fake blood in their mouths, and they just took pictures. I'm not gonna lie, when he showed that with the fake blood, I was like, no way Billy's gone. And then he was like, oh, is that okay? And like those I forgot what they call them, the pitch that they take. I don't take pictures, I wouldn't know. It's like where they have the thing out, and then I forgot what it's called. It's like kind of like vintage, but yeah. Stucci brothers, not real people. Billy, and she was, y'all remember when Gloria said, even at some points when you win, you lose. He won the money, won a tournament, but he helped out Cindy. He lost his girl, so he lost at the end of the day. So she gave him the money to get a job and get some clothes for the interview, and he went ahead and did not listen. Lost her even before the tournament started. And Buddy was cooked. So, hey man, he went out terrible at the end of the day. He lost his girl. Only has a couple K, if that. I don't think he even has that K. Did he give this to the Stucci brothers, or was that fake too? I don't think that was fake. I think that was real. So he doesn't have a job. Cindy doesn't have anything. I mean, he has a million jobs, but he doesn't have whatever was in his house outside of his family, which is the most important part, obviously. But at the end of the day, Billy went out sad. Rosie Perez, Jeopardy legend, went insane. So at the end of the day, she won. Her character was so interesting because she would say things, and I'm like, what are you saying? Like, when a girl tells you this, she doesn't really mean this. And then the whole, like, she wasn't getting a job because she was getting ready for Jeopardy, and they were broke, and he was a loser, and she stuck with him. She left him at his worst point, and then she came back, and then she left him again because at the end of the day, she was the breadwinner. She was doing her thing, and this man was nowhere, like, even close to her, like, level. Like, this man literally was only hustling people, and then he would lose. He would bet it all and lose, and then he would ask her for more money. And they bet that. And then the cycle keeps going on and on and on. At the point she had enough. Even if he won, she knew that she was like, this is the last time? What do you think, I'm a moron? Because she knew that he literally would have taken that money, say he won. Would eventually lost and came back with more. Hey, this is the last time. Can I go ahead and, away the money? And I don't even care about the money. I'm going to give the money to you. I'm just going to help out Sydney. Man, he's not real. He's not serious. He's not serious at all. But yeah, overall, White Man Can't Jump, 8.5 out of 10. 2023 White Man Can't Jump. I mean, I hate when they do sequels of shows and they don't have it in like the 5-year time frame. They have different cast members. Like, man, I'm trying to watch sequels of shows with the same character. I'm trying to watch sequence of like shows, but movies for this particular topic. Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? But I digress. But other than that, y'all, that is the video. So go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up. Make sure to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. It's your boy John. Hopefully you got the video. But other than that, also follow me on TV Time and on oh my god, what is this called? No way, I just blanked on this. On Letterboxd. Link to those will be in the description box down below. That is where I go ahead and have my reviews, where when I'm watching the movies, I write things down because I'm always going to forget certain things. So I would write it down. I post it on obviously shows or movies, but I have my TV reviews on Twitter. I have my Letterboxd on obviously Letterboxd, and I have my movie reviews on Twitter as well. I just go post that on there. Boom, boom, boom. I have some notes, write it down on Twitter, and then I go ahead and quote you the tweet. So don't forget a couple of things, especially when I'm watching shows. A lot of things that go on, a lot of different scenes, a lot of moments that I end up forgetting. But I go ahead and just boom, put that on there, and then bang. And then I go ahead and make a video after I go ahead and look through that, and then looking through that as well as I go through the video, as I can see probably in the beginning of the video when I'm looking through that, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And then I'll get more in depth at the end of the video, which we are doing right here. But that it is. Again, follow my Letterboxd TV Time down below in the description box down below. But yeah. It's your boy John. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'm out, man. Peace.